Today, Jesus can be appreciated as one who espoused a philosophy that is often very much in line with our UU principles. His revolutionary exploration of loving human connection is a shining example of our third and fourth principles in action, with their emphasis on spiritual growth and finding truth and meaning. But even so, why place such an emphasis on the story of the birth of this groundbreaking philosopher? Well, we'll start with our first principle emphasizes the worth and dignity of every person. And the story of Jesus' birth is complementary to this idea. Here was a baby born in an animal stall to regular, ordinary people, and yet his worth and dignity is obvious as he went on to do extraordinary things. And that has shown people throughout history, people who sorely needed this lesson, that like that baby laying in a manger, any child born is full of possibility and deserving of our respect, love, and attention. That resonates with Unitarian Universalists because a vital component of our faith is the exploration of how we, through acting out of love, can be extraordinary, ordinary human beings. Our principles, just like Jesus' teachings, are all about stepping out of selfishness and reconnecting ourselves with that spirit of love that elevates us and others into becoming our better selves. We can find our sixth principle in that story, too. The depiction of the star, the animals, the people of different classes and backgrounds gathering together all point to the interdependent web of which we are all a part. Jesus would spend his life reflecting that web through his work amongst the poor and marginalized. The UUA says one of our sources is Christian teachings which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves. And that clearly aligns with our values of social justice and equity for all. Jesus' conception of a loving we culture, a connection, was certainly a revolutionary idea for its time, and in our current I culture, this concept is one we still struggle with. Just look at the Occupy movement. I was struck recently by a moment from the Occupy movement caught on video that, for me, confirmed the power within the kind of connection I'm talking about here. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen the video of campus police pepper spraying students as they peacefully sit around the school sidewalk. But as an antidote to that disturbing violence is a video taken the following day. The school's chancellor, who is responsible for the actions of the police, is leaving her office in this video, and she's walking to her car. And there, lining the sidewalks, are dozens and dozens of students. And they are all silent. It is the silence of a group of people in community connected behind one idea, their disapproval of unnecessary violence. The quiet is palpable and powerful. The chancellor can barely make her way to her car under the weight of that deafening quiet. They are not to scare her like the giant Santa Claus scared me. They are there to show her their peaceful solidarity. If that isn't a lesson in the power of connection that Jesus would approve of, I don't know what is. And even within the crass commercialization of the holiday season, people's actions at Christmas show that they intuitively associate that power of interconnection and community building with this holiday. People go to church, often for the only time all year. People give to charities or even volunteer their time helping others, often for the only time all year. And again, often for the only time all year, people gather with their family and friends. Now, speaking of families, I have to confess that I'm glad mine isn't here today, because now I can share one of our family secrets with you. Now, this is just between you and me. In our family, we suffer from an ailment. It's an illness that comes every year around holiday time, and it's characterized by a variety of symptoms: irritability, fatigue, short temper, lethargy, aches, and pains, but can most efficiently be described as a general malaise. We call it Christmas-itis. You know, if we're naming things, we might as well call my fear of Santa Santa-phobia. Well, we first recognized Christmas-itis a while back. Each year the family gathers at my parents' house to celebrate the holidays, and someone is always sick. It's gotten to be so consistent that we call each other up and say, Well, who's going to have Christmasitis this year? Our first explanation was that it was just that time of year when cold and flu germs thrive, but then we noticed a pattern. The symptoms begin mid-December and get worse and worse until they reach their debilitating peak right around Christmas Day. Then, the day after Christmas, the symptoms vanish. And that made me wonder, could Christmasitis be a psychosomatic illness? After all, as much as our family looks forward to our Christmas gatherings, there is also a great deal of stress involved. There's the stress of decorating, though that flow of Santa has been retired, thank goodness. There's the search for just the right gift for everybody, the planning of meals to appeal to everyone, from me, no dairy, to my father, no carbs, and to my nephews, nothing that isn't fried. Add my wonderful chaos-averse parents, who with large garbage bags in tow on Christmas morning attempt to throw away the wrapping paper almost before it's off the gift, and you have an elaborate high-stakes production going on. And on top of that, we're supposed to stay relentlessly cheerful, loving, and patient with each other throughout. It's enough to give anyone a bad case of Christmasitis. You see, I'm convinced that Christmasitis is a response to all that pressure to have a perfect holiday, which is impossible, of course. And all that holiday pageantry often keeps us from facing what is bothering us deep down, all those personal connections that aren't going or haven't gone right in our lives, or all those personal connections that we've lost through death or separation, and all those connections to humanity in the wider world that are all too commonly fractured. Amidst the glare of tinsel and blinking lights and the expectation of perfection, these broken connections can seem beyond repair. So Christmas, even amongst family and friends, can be a lonely time. And for the already lonely, Christmas can be an especially difficult time, like that big Santa Claus right up in your face demanding, "Ho, ho, ho, you will have a Merry Christmas." That's far easier said than done for those feeling lost, isolated, and disconnected. Seen in this light, Christmasitis isn't funny at all. So what can we do to fight Christmasitis? It's clear Santa Claus, nativity scenes, eggnog, or Christmas trees aren't going to mend the strained, fractured, or broken relationships that stand out amongst the relentless happiness that stores try and sell us this time of year. What it takes to begin healing the human race starts with consciously acknowledging that this holiday is joyfully symbolic of the importance of connection making. We begin by working to be lovingly present to our friends and families, just be there for them, not lose ourselves amidst that quest for the merriest holiday possible, and not expect them to be anyone other than who they are. In other words, if your brother or sister gets on your nerves the rest of the year, don't expect to be any different on Christmas. And if you're the one feeling lost, lonely, isolated, take a moment to reach out and allow yourself to be comforted by another, just as that family gave my family the gift of helping them that one memorable Christmas. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to think even more broadly than that. We have to work to hold on to that connection-making spirit, work to make our I culture into a we one, as envisioned in prophetic voices like that of Jesus. We have to save some of that energy we spend blowing up that giant Santa Claus or decorating our houses with lights and use it for something else, to reach out and give to someone of our time, presents, or material goods. We don't have to dress up in lamb costumes or make everything perfect to make Christmas meaningful. The meaning is right here in the sanctuary and stretches web-like out from this church into the community around us, just like it stretched from that department store owner, Mr. Ellis, to my family, to that family we helped one Christmas, and most likely to someone they were able to help, and so on. There's great power in those loving connections, power to heal and even affect change, as seen with that moment of silence during the Occupy movement. We need to be thinking what we can do to make those connections happen in the upcoming year, not save them up for holiday time. Today represents a moment of celebration. Tomorrow, we roll up our sleeves and get to work. but we hold on to that feeling of celebration, for the work we have to do is joyful indeed. So I'd like to leave you this morning with a friendly warning to beware of Santaphobia, sock monkeys, clowns, recalcitrant children dressed as lambs, and Christmas items with all its causes and symptoms. But whatever you do, don't beware of loving connections. Open your heart to them and go out into the